Hello and welcome to the Nexus. Welcome to the Picard review, and we're going to be reviewing episodes 4 and 5. Let's take a look. So in my last episode review, we reviewed episodes 1 to 3. Now we're on episodes 4 and 5, and I'm actually going to review the episodes one by one now instead of bundled up. It's just easier because of what is happening. Now, episode 4. Now, before we go any further, actually, I want to say that it's a spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, get yourself over to Amazon, get yourself over to Paramount Plus, and get it. Just take a look. The show is getting better and better as it goes along. But from here on, there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, this is your last chance. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So, Star Trek Picard's episode 4, brilliant. It's the way that they used the portal gun, and they've used the portal gun in the last one. They're now dropping further into the nebula. This episode actually was more sort of Star Trek-y, if you know what I mean. A more sort of ones that we're negotiating on. They're coming up with problems. They're trying to solve it. There were a few things in the episode that I was like when Beverly was counting the pulses from the organism, which we come on to later on. Why didn't she pipe up sooner? Why didn't she go? We've been, why didn't she tap that and go? Look, I've been tracking this. There's a pattern here. But she left it right until the last minute to even say anything. Also, as well, I want to say as well, has Beverly Crusher taken over sickbay now? Is she now the doctor on the ship? Even though it has a doctor, it just seems like she's in charge. Anyway, then we come on to Vedic. We now know is a changeling. Something weird as well with the changelings is that she obviously chopped off her arm, put it in this bowl, and then it sort of gooed up into, I don't know, like a sort of communication device thing. I just thought that part was a bit weird. But obviously there's something wrong with Jack Crusher. Obviously, we're trying now to sort of pinch that together. But this one, like I said, felt more Star Trek-y. That they're falling to their doom. They're trying to come up with ways. They're on the precipice. Also, as well, season 4 doesn't show any. What I should say, episode 4 doesn't show any Wolf or Raffi. They're not in the whole episode. I don't know why they've decided to leave them out of this episode, but they completely left them out. Where before we were sort of going backwards and forwards with them. With this episode, it was all Titan. It was all on the Titan. But it just felt more like they're coming up with problems. They were discussing ways. They were on the precipice of dying, and then they found out that actually what they were in was an organism, much like the alien at Farpoint Station. And then it sort of gives birth, and we see loads of little jellyfish, loads of them about. It's something that Star Trek has come on before with like space organisms and stuff like that, but it just felt more Star Trek-y. And then obviously they were able to ride the pulses, the waves forward. I can't understand how they didn't get to that conclusion before, because even like when you watch Star Trek and stuff like that, you think that they've done this before with certain episodes, and they've even used it on ones where they've detonated a device that pushes them forward. And I was thinking they were coming up with ways, and I was thinking, why don't you just eject the warp core and ride the bow wave out? But these pulses that were coming, I was like, well, couldn't they just push the ship? Couldn't they ride it? They've done it before in many episodes, but it took them a while to get there. Because the first thing I thought was, when the pulses were coming, I was like, surely they can time the pulses and push the ship, which they eventually did anyway, but it just took a long time to get there. And maybe that's because I'm the viewer and we've seen episodes before, maybe that's the way I just felt. But I was thinking, why couldn't they do that right at the start? But it was just an excellent episode. And then they obviously escape. Let us know what you think of episode 4 in the comments below. We find out a bit more about Vedic that she's a changeling, and they've now ejected the portal weapon that she had, so she hasn't got it on her ship anymore. And they're off. They go off into the sunset, as it was, back to the Federation. So that's where we leave episode 4. So let us know in the comments below what you think of episode 4. Now coming up for episode 5. Here's your countdown for spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This episode was the best episode they've done so far. The thing I'm finding with Star Trek Picard is the episodes seem to be getting better and better as the weeks goes on, and I'm getting more and more anxious because what I want is to binge the whole series all at once. Yet we're getting drip fed these episodes, and it's annoying. I think we're in a time where, you know, series should all be put out there, and us waiting is now becoming very it's just frustrating. I want more episodes. That's all. I know it's going to be brilliant, but it seems like a long way away. We're also, as well, it's worth noting, we're halfway through the series now. So we're halfway through. There's still quite a lot of episodes, actually, to think about. There's still 5 weeks still to go. But, yeah, we're sort of halfway through now. So where do we find the Titan? Well, she's now back in Federation space. She's now undergoing repairs with the little work bees. Now, I think they're work bees, but they actually look like the little dots. So you remember Discovery's dots? And I think the Enterprise has them as well. You see them repairing, but they look like a little bit like work bees. Anyway, they're repairing some of the damage that was caused by the Nebula and by Vedic and the Shark and Shrank. Is it Shrank? I'm butchering that. I do apologise. And they've now sent out a call to Starfleet. A ship has been dispatched to them, and now they've got to come up with their bullshit story, as we've been told. As the series goes on, I'm finding I'm like Liam Shaw more, and the more I see him, the more I want him to have a series on him. But it's really strange, because I think if he was in the TNG era, he would have been like Jellicoe, and Jellicoe. We would have hated him because of the way he was. But I think as we've gotten older, we've started to realise certain aspects. You know, before, you know, Thanos was the big guy in Marvel with the fingers, and he wanted to clear. And lots of people are now saying, you know, Thanos was right. He should have done this. And I'm finding that with Liam as well. Is like with Liam Shaw, is that I think a lot of people hated him, but actually, I think more people like him, and I'm growing on him every episode. But I grew on him straight away. I thought he was excellent. But I think a lot of people said, "Oh, I can't believe he's talking to Picard on Riker like that." And I'm like, you've got to see it from his point of view. You've got to see it that these two people that have had trouble and explosions all their life, all their Starfleet life, right, and they come on his ship for no apparent reason, of course you're going to be a bit arsey. So I liked him from the get-go, and I've just liked him more and more as the series has gone on. Just more and more. He's just fantastic, especially the monologue he done in the last episode 4, about Wolf 359. It was brilliant. Anyway, so they're making repairs. A ship comes up. Something that this series is definitely a swan song to the next gen, and I don't think it's been the last that we've seen of some people from the next generation popping up. But we get our first one, and it was a shocker for me, because I was like, holy hell, I wasn't expecting that. And it was Ro Laren. Do you remember Lieutenant Ro Laren? She appeared in a few episodes of Next Generation, come very close to Picard. That's like a father figure. And then I think it was in season 7, she was sent undercover to the Maquis, and that was last we saw of her. And we've seen her now in Picard, though she does sort of meet an end. It was nice to see her, but it does mean, I think, going forward, we probably won't see Guinan, but we see her in the last 2 series. But I think going forward we're going to definitely see more characters from Star Trek. You know, Voyager, DS9 even, because it's got that sort of changeling element. So I would very much doubt that we're not going to see other people from DS9. They've even in this episode, but in previous episodes as well, they've mentioned Janeway. There was a thing that come up where Seven says, "Why don't you contact Admiral Janeway?" And the way that they keep mentioning her, it seems to me that we're going to see her at some point. I can't wait. Even if we don't, I think it's great that they're name dropping certain characters into it. I think it's brilliant. But anyway, the main story is that the Intrepid comes. Ro Laren is now part of Starfleet intelligence, so it's very strange. I don't think she's Section 31, because what we found out from DS9 when Section 31 became a thing was that we had Starfleet intelligence, and Section 31 was like their Black Ops undercover sort of anti-hero organisation. That's the best way of putting it. That's the one where, oh, in order to save the Federation, it means killing billions of people, and Starfleet would have gone, no, we can't do that. Section 31 goes, well, we're doing that. And that's what Section 31 was. It was like a splinter dark op group that worked within Starfleet in the shadows. They mentioned Section 31 in the series. Raffi and Worf, I think they mentioned they were working for Section 31, but she's working for Starfleet intelligence. She comes aboard, but what the show's done really well is she a changeling? And it runs through your head. Even Picard thinks it, and they go on the holodeck, and they're about to shoot each other because both of them think that they are changelings, and that is the cool thing. Also, as well, it's really cool. Like I said in the previous ones, Dr. Crusher just taken over sickbay now. She's dissecting the changeling that was shot in the last episode, and what they're finding is that the changeling is evolving. So even though it can like turn into a liquid state, it can bleed like everybody else. It also has internal organs and all of that, and it's more human. But she's saying they're now more. It's not a mutation. It's evolution. So they're evolving, which is really cool. But it also means they're more dangerous now, because it means that they can pass scanners and everything else that they've put in place since the Dominion War to prevent this sort of incursion. There is one thing that I want to say, and that is we've been here before. So in this one, we find out that the changeling problem is at the very top of Starfleet, and Starfleet is now corrupt. Now, I just want to put a break on that a minute, because didn't we have that in season 1 of Picard? Wasn't the Romulans infiltrated Starfleet at the higher level, and Starfleet was corrupt at the higher level? You know what I mean? I already think that was already done. Anyway, Ro Laren comes on. We know that she's human, but the people she's with aren't, and she realises that changelings are everywhere. I think they realise as well. They set a bomb on her shuttle on the way back. It crashes into the Intrepid, which half disables the engine on it. And that's her story. But what's really good now is that we're getting somewhere with Jack Crusher. We keep seeing this sort of vein effect and the red door opening. Once again, I think that door opening thing they've done before. It's reminiscent of Stranger Things, even with the sort of I don't know, veins and all that. It all just screams. The red door, the veins, all just screams Stranger Things. But there's something wrong with Jack Crusher. Now, I've seen lots of predictions. Maybe he's part Borg. He keeps hearing a female's voice about come to us and all that sort of stuff, and it just screams Borg. Is he part Borg? You know, is Picard's son did some of the nanoprobes get into him? Whatever, I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but something. And obviously the changelings want him for some purpose. I don't know. We're going to find that out. But what I did find really cool is when the changelings found Jack, he sort of let it take over, and he just went. He done some jujitsu thing with the phase, and he was able to kill 4 of them all at once, and they were pretty astonished why. And Crusher says, "It's good job you knew they were changelings," and he was like, "I didn't. I was just stopped by them and took them straight out, and didn't hesitate to shoot every single one of them." And he's had these dreams as well. So I think the most interesting thing about the show at the moment isn't the Picard thing. I think that's just nostalgia. It's what's happening with Jack Crusher, and it's really interesting going forward what we're going to get. And with Worf and Ravi, we sort of see them interacting in this show. We see that Worf has a handler. We know that handler is now Ro Laren. And at the end of this, we see Worf, Riker, and Picard all sort of communicate at the same time. It was just wonderful. The show is getting better and better and better as it goes on. Let us know in the comments what you think of both episodes. I'm going to review episode by episode now. So make sure you click to subscribe, like this video, and leave your comments down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next video. Take it easy, guys.